Chris Bumstead is getting ready to retire.
And I mean, it's funny, I always say this and it sounds like it's like a scripted thing, but it's like so genuine, like me and Courtney talking. It's like my honest answer is one more.
All right, guys, it's Beachbody again, and today's video is all about classic physique and Chris Bumstead. So I've been going about my daily business, looking on social media and watching all the videos that I see all the time on my feed, and I've seen a lot of footage of Chris Bumstead recently. As you will, obviously, he is the current classic physique champion, and quite rightly so. He's everywhere in terms of bodybuilding on social media. And two of Chris's biggest rivals are Miracle Bear, Irvs, and Ramon Dino. Now, Ramon just took first at the Arnold Classic 2023 in the classic physique division. And at the 2022 Mr. Olympia, it was pretty close. Don't get me wrong, Chris still dominates. But in terms of everyone else, behind Chris, it was pretty close. And Ramon came in second. And if you know anything about Chris Bumstead, you know all about his champion mentality. From his brand to his actual life mindset, he's all about the champion mentality. And of course, I can get behind everything that he's been doing recently, because champion mentality to him clearly means knowing how good you are, but also spreading the message and doing your bit for the bodybuilding community and the future of bodybuilding and whoever the next champion might be. And for that reason, guys, I'm making this video because I really believe that Chris Bumstead is getting ready to retire, or at least retire from classic physique anyway. Why else would he be making so much content with Ramon? Why else would we be seeing him training with Ramon? Why else would he be teaching him how to pose and we're seeing pictures on social media of Chris literally looking like he's preparing the next champion? It literally looks to me like he's conditioning Ramon to be the next guy after him to take the throne. I think Ramon would be a great champion after Chris. I think he'd set a great example. I think he'd bring Brazil on the map. And I think from the content I've seen, his heart is in it. He's all about bodybuilding and he's a genuinely nice guy, just like Chris. But when Ramon didn't get where he wanted to be in the last Mr. Olympia, you could see how much soul and emotion he has for the sport. Now, if you guys didn't already know, the Truth podcast with Hani Rambod, Chris's trainer for the last few months, featured Chris in one of his episodes recently, in which there has been a joke shared, and also in other training videos, they've shared the same joke about Chris moving to the open division.
When will Chris do an open show? Because you've teased it quite a bit, and more recently now than ever, as people go, oh, maybe he can get an invite to the Olympia.
So I mean, as I always say, I would never push myself on certain things and train at a certain level and do anything throughout like a year or 2 years time. But I would love to peak for an open show. You know, maybe 1 year if time allows it, my health allows it, and we're just like, I'm in shape post Olympia or something. Because even last year, and I was thinking this when we were talking about peak week, we were still so conservative. Yeah, just like
so not an Olympia type thing, but just not a big show, but something that would just be a basic open pro show is what you're talking about?
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? Or this year, you know, whatever happens in Olympia happened. The next year, I'm like, I'll do the open. And then I'll ask for a special invite. And
now you're just throwing things out. You're just stirring the pot.
Wow. Wow, the pot has been turned upside down.
Now, in that same podcast, it's worth noting that Cbum has mentioned himself that he wants to retire from bodybuilding in his early 30s. As far as I'm aware, Chris is in his late 20s. I think he's 28 or 29, meaning Chris doesn't have that many more titles left under his belt to go according to his plan. Let's just assume Chris wants to at least try one open division show. Maybe not even for the Mr. Olympia, but let's say he wants to do one open show. Now he's going to have to get ready for that show. He's going to have to do a full off season and a full prep. And that's going to take roughly maybe up to a year to get ready for that show to do well. Because this is Cbum, guys. This isn't just some regular Joe. This is Cbum. This is the king of classic physique. 4-time Mr. Olympia classic physique. The guys that want to do mediocre at an open class bodybuilding show, even if it's not the Olympia. So that 1 year to get ready for an open show, that means that if Chris wants to retire by his early 30s, let's just assume that means around 33, he has to get ready for that show starting around 32 years old. That means Chris only has another 2 or 3 years competing in the classic physique division, if he doesn't have a break between winning the classic division and competing in the open division. Now, if you look at how much improvement Ramon has made since the 2022 Arnold Classic to the 2023 Arnold Classic, wow, this guy means business. He's coming for Chris. And I like the whole dynamic they've got going on at the minute, where they're training together and they're bouncing off each other. It's almost like Chris is like, yeah, I'm so far ahead, I could beat anyone. Or is it? Does Chris know that he's getting ready to come towards the end of his classic physique reign? Does Chris know that he's getting ready to train the next champion? Is he conditioning Ramon because he's personally handpicked him to take his place? Well, looking at all the social media posts and a lot of the content that these two guys are putting out recently, I think that might be the case. And like I said earlier, with Chris keep hinting this in his content, in the Truth podcast, in some of the posts he's making, I do think we might have to accept the fact that it might be time for the reign of Cbum to come to a close in the next couple of years. Because Chris is still young, wants to build a family with Courtney, starting his serious business, he's very involved in raw nutrition, and he doesn't want to necessarily compete so seriously into his 30s. I think this might be the end of Cbum coming soon in the next few years. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you think that Cbum has personally picked Ramon to take his place and reign over classic physique for years to come? Do you think Cbum would do well in an open division show? Do you think it's the right move for him to stop competing in his 30s? Let me know. Comment down below, like the video, subscribe and click the bell button for notifications for all my next videos. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.